Welcome to another live stream, everybody. Hopefully, you're all having a fantastic day. Bitcoin and crypto in general has been very volatile since the election. That was very much expected. Great to see that Bitcoin actually did blow through all-time highs, and even that daily close we had yesterday was beautiful. A nice solid close above this double top. We even had a bearish divergence on the RSI, and we invalidated that by breaking above. So I love to see that. And now, just the fact that we broke that structure is, even if we do see some sort of a pullback, I really think that Bitcoin's in a beautiful place. And, being that we have this nice order block down here that pushed us through that all-time highs, I would really hope that that support ends up holding if we do end up seeing a pullback. Ideally, we just end up flipping this resistance into support like we're trying to do right now. In a less than an hour, this daily candle will close, and I would love to see it close like this, honestly. Yes, it is indecision, so it could mark a reversal as well. But the fact that it's an indecision after breaking all-time highs like that and for a whole day holding that resistance as support, tomorrow could be an interesting day. That being said, if we end up losing this old resistance as support, like I said, I think it makes a lot of sense that we drop down towards that, basically 70K, if not even lower, down towards 67. Absolutely possible. If we end up losing that level, that's where I'm going to be looking at the potential for a much bigger move. I think in that case, it would make a lot of sense to test around 54K, somewhere in there, because I would basically, and that's only if we lose that red and green box. At that point, I think it's very possible that we're going to retest this entire range. Basically, that would be a classic Stuber setup, right? Because we would have taken out this lower high that we had, because lower low, lower low, lower high. We ended up breaking that. So a classic Stuber fib would, and it would still be bullish in my opinion, is if we saw some sort of a pullback all the way down here. So let's say we get something like that. Obviously, it does not have to happen. It's not like I'm saying it is, but if this happens to play out over the next several weeks type of thing, I think it would be beautiful support down here. I feel much different about this level than I did back here, because now we actually have that break of this high, right? The fact that we actually broke that structure. Now, if we see that pullback, I think there's a good chance that momentum steps back in, right? Because the trend is to the upside, because we broke that structure in a bullish way, right? So I feel very different about these levels down here now if we get all the way down there versus back here. Again, it does not have to happen. I mean, it's very possible that we're just going to start a parabolic run now that, the uncertainty of the election is over. We've broken some serious structure. If we just keep staircasing to the upside, just chase the structure just the way I am right now, right? Basically, on the daily, I'm looking at this green box as being the structure that I really don't want to see fail, just because that is the level where basically that's where we reversed and went to the upside and hammered through all-time highs, right? So nice little order block there. And also, when I pull up the ALGO master, another thing I love to see on the daily is that we have this beautiful trend of upward trending sell signals as well as buy signals on this indicator. And that's on the daily, so that's a very strong trend. Obviously, trends eventually break, so it's not going to keep doing that forever. But as far as, I don't want to fight this trend, right? A beautiful trend to the upside on a daily chart like this. I'm taking the odd scalp short kind of a thing, but for the most part, I'm very quick to start taking profits on those and bumping up stop losses. Same with the long side, honestly. I'm hoping that I'm going to catch one scalp that turns into a runner. That's how some of my best positions end up playing out. So that's kind of what I'm looking at this point, is I'm willing to scalp either direction and just basically, quickly updating stop losses and hoping to catch a runner with the rest, because I'm not swinging at those home runs on the minute. Well, I'm swinging at the home runs, but I'm not getting silly with them, right? I'm remembering to pay myself, because I understand it's not likely you're catching a home run on the 1 minute, but beautiful trend to see there on the daily. The 4 hour, I believe, is very similar on the Algo Master. So we've had, here, as soon as we got our higher sell signal, we had several higher buy signals basically from back here. So every one of those higher buy signals on the 4 hour has just been an absolute beautiful call. And on the 4 hour as well, I mean, I also see this support down here, that same red box, the old resistance. You know, we did end up testing it as support already on the 4 hour. So again, I don't want to see us lose that level. Honestly, I'd even have my concerns if we lose this structure here, because technically higher high, higher high, higher low. You know, it's possible that this is actually the structure that matters in the more immediate term. But I'm willing to give it down to this level just because that is the old resistance flipping into support, right? But again, if that level drops, I still don't think Bitcoin's in that bad of a place. You know, we had this buy volume come in here on the Keltner bands, still upward trending buy signals, just looking beautiful as far as a trend goes. I want to take a look at, did I end up getting stopped out? I just got to check my other device here. One sec. That was very close if I didn't. I am still in my Ethereum long. Wow, was that close. I am... One second. I am going to close another quarter of my position here, just because, again, we do have this downward slope. Again, well, just looking at the trend of this indicator once again, right? This is a perfect live example that I'm not willing to take a short right now, just because I don't really... Right now, I'm not super confident on the bears. I am a little gun shy on the shorts right now. I'll still do it the odd time, but I am a little gun shy on that direction. So right now, I'm looking at this as, although it's a potentially the sign of a bearish reversal here, rather than taking the short, I'm just going to close a little bit of my long position just to reduce some risk, make sure I pay myself, and then I still have half my position open. If we drop literally any lower than this, my stop loss must have been missed by pennies. If we end up dropping any lower than that, I'm just losing confidence in that position, and the other half can get stopped out at break even. That's fine. But yeah, we'll see what happens from there. Because yeah, you know, this is quite often an early warning sign to me that the trend could be shifting, is that, you know, we print a lower buy followed by a lower sell. That can be, you know, even if a person wanted to take a short right now, I mean, it's a nice tight invalidation. Just, yeah, that's one way that I really love using this indicator. That's the ALGO master. And that's one of my favorite bits of Confluence that I use when I am looking for new trade setups. So, I mean, yeah, you know, starting to look for bearish Stuber fibs, stuff like that. Absolutely, I think there's reason to look for those types of setups, right? I mean, let's see, I don't have a lower high signal printed yet, but even if we get some... Actually, no. If we end up getting to the upside, that would probably end up with a higher sell signal, and then things are going to reverse. Yeah, no. As far as this goes right now, I'm still not going to take the short. I'm just, like I said, took a little more profits off my long. I'm going to see what happens. But basically, my reason for taking this long was I just saw this on the 5 minute, looked like a nice pivotal point down here, looked where we were kind of trying to find support here. We were getting down towards this buy trend on the 5 minute, and I think there was some, oh, I remember what it was, on this indicator down here, the oscillator stack. This is what led me to hold on to the position. So I entered because I had the Stuber fib pulled from this pivot down here, but what got me to kind of hold on to this position a little bit longer rather than getting rid of it right at that sell trend. I saw this signal here on the oscillator stack. You know, we got that bright red box flashing, big green dot there. So just kind of looking like, you know, momentum may be shifting. It's just looking like it's a little bit oversold in that case. And also back here on the Wave Master, we started seeing that, you know, there could be a nice big volatile move coming in. So going with that as this potential reversal here along a Stuber fib, that's kind of all the things leading me to hope that this direction, the direction of these signals changes again relatively quickly here. I haven't lost all my faith on this position yet, because even the fact with this little line down here on the very immediate time frames here, that's a break in structure right there, right? Because we had our low here and we just ended up setting a lower low that confirms this as my lower high. Yes, very micro analyzing, I know, but this is scalping the 1 minute, so it is what it is. But we broke that structure, so even if we pull back to the downside a little bit, doesn't overly matter, but I don't want to see us drop this level again. So the indicators right now are kind of being a little bit of my confluence for my risk management, right? And that's why I ended up paying myself a little more here. But I'm still holding on to the position based on market structure, right? I usually look at market structure first, and then I kind of look at indicators and stuff, just to kind of a second set of eyes. I know, honestly, guys, most people use indicators trying to force as many trades as they can, just looking, you know, feeling FOMO, trying to get into positions. I get it. Everyone loves being in a position at all times. But the thing is, I really like using the indicators on the other side of things, you know, using them when to pay myself, when to just consider taking caution, you know, that sort of thing. And that's really what I'm doing here right now, and why I took some profits there. .8% Binance retail are short. See, that's another thing, is I know retail is shockingly not very long heavy right now. That's very shocking, because usually as we get to resistance and stuff like that, I mean, you end up seeing that the retail longs go up to 70, 78, whatever percent. It gets absolutely nuts. And, you know, the fact that we're seeing, you know, closer to a 50-50 split, there's a lot of people, a lot of retail trying to short, because, you know, a lot of people miss the move to the upside. They immediately want to catch that reversal, right? They're going to short it back down to where they're going to long the hell of it, is their mindset. But rather than just waiting for those long setups, they're going to try and short it back down, and then try and revenge short that loss back down, and then revenge short that loss back down. So as long as retail is, you know, continuing to short this, then that's just more liquidity to the upside. That's more rocket fuel, in my opinion. So I find it hard to believe that, you know, after a big excited daily candle close above all-time highs like that, even a double top with a perfect bearish divergence there on the RSI. Oops. There we go. And by that, I mean, this is one of my favorite things, one of my favorite patterns, honestly. I've backtested this a lot back in the day. Perfect double top there with this divergence from overextended conditions down to the 70 level. The fact that we did not carry any momentum there, we just ended up finding support at the order block we had down here, and blasting through that, invalidating that signal. I think there's a lot of strength there. Like I said, if we drop that red box, then I start to have my concerns. We drop the green box, then I'll really be concerned for at least the midterm. But other than that, so far, it still looks great. The fact that the second daily close right now is holding above that all-time high resistance. And this daily close is in 35 minutes. So we'll still be on stream when that happens. This Ethereum long still playing out nice. You know, this sell signal, I'm hoping to see this resistance flip into support. That would do wonders for my position. See, so in this case, just looking at the very immediate structure here, guys, like I said, low, lower low, lower high. So the fact we broke that now confirmed this as our low, right? But now we got another higher high. So this is actually our confirmed higher low on this very immediate trend here. So I'd really like to see us hold that level. If we close below it, I may close a third quarter of my position just to take what I can get. higher buy signal. Love to see that. Lower high signal on the auto charting tools. Don't love to see that because if I were to guess, we're kind of getting shut down at a Stuber fib right now. Not saying it will get shut down, but obviously just where we're starting to struggle with resistance. We do have this sell trend. We have a Stuber fib pulled from here. The fact that we don't have a higher sell signal yet going corresponding with a higher buy, we just don't really have a confirmed trend reversal yet. So there's still some concerns here, but it's a start. Here, yeah, oh, chaos. Oh man, yeah, that was a beautiful play. The ETH long still in play from 2408. Well done. Yeah, that was I don't know why I never started seriously longing the shit out of Ethereum, honestly. Especially after we pointed that out in the stream the other day. Oh man, just a beautiful, beautiful play. Right where you got in, right at the 786. Nailed it. So if this Stuber fib setup is going to play out from this rejection point, the first target would be down here around 2,870 on Ethereum. That's my 214 fib, and that's basically the opposite 786, right? If I were to pull it from the bottom of the range up to the top of our new range, notice the 214 is just slightly front running the 786. So that's where that random fib number comes from for my setups. But yeah, I'm not shorting this or anything. Just one reason why I see that my long, why the second half could get stopped out yet. Yeah, hedging, in your case, hedging probably wouldn't be a bad idea just because, I mean, that is a beautiful long position that you're in. You could start looking for some tight invalidation hedge setups. I love getting into a nice hedge. Like if I have a nice running position and then you can get into a hedge that also starts running a little bit, and that's just such a relaxing place to be in where you really just don't care which way the market moves because you can start taking profits on whichever position as you carry on, and you really don't have to worry about the stress of finding a new position. I love getting into a nice hedge like that. You know, even looking at looking at Bitcoin on the weekly, I mean, there's obviously a few days left yet. What would actually be wild would be if we end up just still closing this weekly candle below this red box. That would be concerning because something that we could still consider on the weekly time frame here. One, I know I keep finding these random things that are like, hey, here's my last bearish concern. Again, I am bullish now, but something to at least not ignore is the fact, look at this bearish divergence on the RSI on the weekly. I mean, that's exactly what got me bearish at this double top right here back in June. And I'm not going to consider it valid if we close above the higher high here. Like if we close the candle above all-time highs, then I'm not as concerned. But if all of a sudden we pull back and we are getting some sort of a liquidity grab above or just a swing fail, whatever, especially if the candle closed red, I would have my concerns that this is a big double top bearish divergence kind of a thing on the weekly. That could be very concerning. At that point, there could be some very significant follow through. But that's very theoretical at this point. That closes 3 days away. I don't actually think that's going to happen, but I'm not going to ignore the possibility. And I love looking at charts at the weekly close. I may even do a live stream. It's hard to say. See what I'm up to that evening, but may end up just watching that weekly close because it's going to be a wild one. Even if we end up breaking, let's just say, maybe in 3 days, maybe the weekly closes way up here. I still wouldn't be too surprised to see the next week drop all the way back down to this red box and retest it, and everyone would be shitting their pants about that kind of a pullback. But all in all, it would be very healthy. But these are all just very theoretical potential things to watch for. These are not predictions. These are just things to keep in the back of your mind, so if they start to happen, that you don't panic, right? Those are the types of theories if they happen, you are able to keep a level head because you're ready that, this was a possibility ahead of time kind of a thing. Oh, nice. That higher buy signal still holding on here. So yeah, the fact that Stuber fib never even got pushed right back down to the 214, there's still some strength from the bulls there. So I'm still happy with this. I'd feel even better if we end up getting above this lower high signal on the auto charting tools. I find quite often that after you end up breaking these trends of, let's say, a lower high signal, lower high signals, higher low signals, quite often when you invalidate those, then you get a nice continuation. So if we could end up pushing above this, even if we came back and pulled back down to something like, some sort of a support level, in that case, I think it would just be a great potential for a continuation to the upside. I'm actually going to get rid of this fib because I'm just not as interested in the bearish scenarios right now. So I am interested in this level. I want to see us break that. I'm interested in this level because, again, on the immediate trend, look, notice we got set a new higher high now, right? So that confirms this is the lowest point between my higher and my higher high. Therefore, I have a new confirmed higher low. So I'm actually going to bump up my stop loss to just below this structure back here, just to make sure that I lock in some more profits on this scalp. And since there is the structure supporting that, and now worst case scenario, I just take some more profits on this position. But, there is the possibility that we reverse here. We are at that lower high structure right now. So, I mean, as far as a short setup, yes, it would be tight invalidation. I don't know how likely it is, but there's potential for a double top here. I'm not taking it, but there's potential for that. Very tight invalidation. I'm just more interested in hoping my long runs for now. The fact that we got higher trending buy signals, that's also just telling me to maybe hold off on any bearish setups right now, just because here's our early warning sign, right? Just a warning that the trend may be shifting here. Um, yeah, actually, so when I scalp, so most trading I do, I don't like setting blind limit orders. I usually like to see reactions of levels. Stuber fibs, there's certain setups that I do actually limit order in, just because it's a strategy that I've been trading so much and I'm comfortable with, and I'm comfortable with the loss if it comes, and just because it's a very structured setup. That's the only reason why I am okay to do my limit entries on Stuber fib setups. But usually when I'm trading trend lines and stuff like that, I like to see how they're reacted with, with double tops, with pennants, wedges, whatever. I really like to see reactions along the trend lines. So it depends on the type of setup that I'm doing. But yes, when I'm trading the 1 minute on Stuber fibs, I will usually set limit orders. Helps with the fees a little bit because obviously market orders do have significantly higher fees. But I generally ladder in. Like I had more orders set. I always front run my fibs a little bit. That's why I entered up here. But I had more orders set at that time since I started taking profits and we started trending to the upside here, breaking structure and that sort of thing. I removed the rest of the orders because at that point I was just kind of chasing things with the stop loss, starting to take profits. At that point I didn't want to consider my other entries anymore, so I removed those. So yes, it's a smaller position than I was initially hoping for, but that's just how I play Stuber fib setups. So I like to ladder in. Usually break my position up anywhere from 3 to 10 different entries, depending how I'm feeling, basically. But I just ladder in around these levels because basically the way a Stuber fib works is, I'm looking to play the uptrend, and just rather than FOMOing into the breakout, I'm looking at the pullback. So that's where I don't want to start entering until the 786 kind of a thing, or very close to, right? As I said, I like front running it, but yeah, so I like laddering in entries. That's why often, if I post that, hey, I played this Stuber setup or whatever, and sometimes people will be like, well, wasn't it invalidated? Why is your entry down here? There's a good chance that I entered just a little bit here, a little more, and went really heavy, as we got closer to my invalidation level. And that's not to say, I'm entering a full position here and doubling down, tripling down, going way heavier on the risk kind of a thing on the way down. It's more so I have a position in mind and I'm splitting it up and then laddering in through those fibs. Yeah, this is playing out beautifully right now. So we did break that lower high as well. Love to see that. Higher low printed since that as well. So nice to see. There's a lot of things starting to say that, hey, we might be trending to the upside, right? With the indicators, one of my favorite ones, I love noticing that when these start to reverse here. I know I kind of went against that down here, but honestly, when I entered, we never had a lower sell signal yet either. And that's what made me start taking profits. But yeah, it's nice to see that we're already getting those warning signs that we might start trending to the upside again. Higher buy signal, broke the lower high signal, printed a higher low signal. Not looking so bad. Not looking stew bad. Thanks for joining again, Chaos. Always great to have you here. Keep crushing it, bro. See, and just notice, guys, on the 1 minute. So this is what I mean on the 1 minute market structure changes so fast, right? Because this was the higher low that I was considering because this is our high, higher high. We set another higher high, higher low. Technically, even another higher high if this candle closes up there, and a higher low. So even if we ended up breaking that, like let's say we close a candle just down here, could have a very tight invalidation short setup in that case. Again, I don't really want to play against, I don't want to stand in front of the bulls right now, looking pretty strong. But that's just looking for that tight invalidation of market structure, right? As it stands right now, we're just printing higher highs, higher lows. Hopefully that makes sense. Again, micro analyzing, but just notice how that structure has not changed on this uptrend, right? So looking at the immediate structure like this, that's how I, update my stop losses and stuff like that when I am scalping like this. Like I'm going to give it a couple. I could update it to below this structure here, but there's a possibility for a wick. So I'm actually going to put my stop loss down here somewhere just to bump it up. Getting some background noise from Johnny. That's all good. I'll just mute you. Let me know if you need to speak at all. I just in case there's any sensitive information or you end up talking to somebody, who knows, right? So I like to mute people if they're accidentally on there. Yo. Still new people coming in. Yeah, basically just babysitting this Ethereum long that I took just earlier. Down or up from here? Things aren't looking so bad yet. I mean, I'm long from down here on Ethereum. Basically played a Stuber fib here. Only got my first entry. I was front running the 786 a little bit. What led me to hold on to this position, I was discussing earlier, basically got this big green dot, basically looking oversold on the oscillator stack indicator, as well on the wave master. Looked like a volatile move was potentially looming. And being it was lining up with the Stuber fib like that, I just decided I was going to hold on to my position. I came very close to getting stopped out at break even. It was within pennies. But so far, still holding on. I was just discussing, I love that, we broke this downtrend of, we had this little bit of a warning, right? We got a lower sell signal, lower buy signal. But very quickly, we ended up getting a higher buy signal on the ALGO master. And that's just kind of one of those early warning signs that I love to look for, that there may be a potential shift in the trend happening, right? So the fact that that happened while I was in this position just made me want to hold on to it even more. Notice we did hold on to that higher low as well, hey? So you see how well that market structure actually does work. Even on the 1 minute, this immediate trend has not lost a higher low this entire time. Higher high, higher high, higher high, higher low. I know I keep outlining this, and let me know if I need to slow down. I guess I'm just doing it very quickly here. But yeah, I think it's very important to understand market structure like that, right? Just noticing that, as you set a higher high, you're confirming that higher low. So it's not just, a lot of times you get some sort of a bounce and consider it a higher low, but is it actually a higher low? Is it confirmed already? And I don't confirm my higher lows until I have the higher highs confirming it, kind of a thing. So playing out absolutely beautifully here. Currently sitting in a 77.5% profit. Got the old 69x leverage on the old Ethereum here. I am going to close another quarter of it, actually. I'm going to close a quarter of the remainder of my position right now. Because you know what? We're getting very close to my Stuber fib target, right? And like I said, I usually front run my fibs a little bit. The fact we had this nice green candle getting up there, I'm just okay taking some profits a little bit early. My target would still be the 214 as far as a Stuber fib setup. But we got a nice bounce here. I'm going to consider that very close. So yeah, front running it a little bit. And again, my stop loss. I'm going to leave the rest of my stop loss a little looser down here still. I want to give it a little bit of breathing room on the last little bit I have open. But yeah, hopefully you guys don't mind this. I know I'm mostly babysitting my trade here, but you know, it's a perfect example of you know, live analyzing how the market structure is changing and how the indicators are printing new warnings and stuff like that. So it's a good live example when you can take a look at the 1 minute and see things happening live. I did also see that Max said there was a bearish divergence on the 1 hour. Let's check that out. Oh, nice higher buy signal on Bitcoin as well. Higher sell, higher buy. Ooh, I don't like that there's this sell volume here, but it has disappeared, and the higher buy signal, that's nice to see. Sorry, I know this is just the 5 minute, but that's a higher sell signal, higher buy signal. Nice to see as far as the micro trend goes. The 1 hour. Yeah, starting to see some bearish divergences on the 1 hour. Even that double top kind of divergence I was talking about earlier on the weekly to watch for. That is basically this setup here. The only difference is there isn't a double top there for me. And that's not to say it can't play out. It's just, for me, I like to see it as a double top type of setup just because that's what I've personally back tested with that exact RSI divergence. But we're starting to see some things, you know, just a few warnings on some of the indicators as well. Wave master here, printing this yellow dot, regular divergence here. Seeing some sell volume kick into the bands here. Yeah. You know, just another reason why I think with Ethereum as well. Oh, there it is. There's my Stuber target there. Hitting the 214. Again, I'm going to hope that it continues running, but that's a successful Stuber fib setup right there. Yeah, the 1 hour. Yeah, you know, the fact that we ended up losing this, you know, we never held this resistance as support for very long. Where would we expect to kind of find support? I really wouldn't want to see us drop below this, which would be kind of down towards 74.3. But as it stands right now, I don't think it looks too bad, even with the divergences. Again, obviously, if we end up dropping this support here, that changes everything. At that point, I'd be looking at some sort of a further downside move. But just the fact that on the 1 hour here, we do have this high and higher high, even with a close above. Even with the divergence, at least there is structure continuing to the upside. I just want to pull a fib from our bottoms here. Actually, yeah, let me just drop this support. Basically support between the 786 down towards the lows there, which would start around 74.9K. I guess that's the Blofin chart as well, right? I know some exchanges have different prices, but that's kind of the structure I'm looking at right there for holding support if we do end up taking that drop to the downside. If we don't get a nice rally from that level, that's where we got to start looking at, you know, those longer time frames. Are we going to hold this old resistance as support? If not, then we have a further drop, and if that fails, you know, that's where things get a little dicey if we get something like so. But again, I still think that there's some beautiful opportunities even if we do drop significantly lower. Actually, that would be absolutely wonderful to see. I'm not expecting it. That's just one of those scenarios to be ready for if it happens. Just to be able to keep a level head if we start approaching down towards 50K again, right? A lot of people will be in panic mode if that happens. Yeah, exactly. Very excited about the next few months of trading. I think it's going to be very fun. The markets, the volatility has obviously picked up. Notice we're chilling right on that buy trend right now. I would like to see a candle body close along it to feel better about it. If we lose it, I could see us ending up printing a higher sell signal relatively soon, but I'm hoping that it ends up being a short move and we end up just printing a higher buy signal really quickly. In that case, you know, we would have our higher sells and our higher buys continuing. That would just be a good indication that, you know, maybe this trend is continuing to the upside for a little longer. Let's turn, no, the auto charting tools has not really printed anything new yet. So right now we are currently testing the higher low, right? Will the market structure continue? Let's find out right now. It's nice to see that this buy signal does line up with that, so I'm hoping we can reclaim that and hopefully give it a push from that support. That would be wonderful to see. Yeah, honestly, I don't even care which direction crypto goes. Either way, the volatility's back. Obviously, a nice bull market, a full-on parabolic run is always fun, especially when altcoin season and stuff like that. But yeah, as traders, I mean, whatever. Shorting's fun too, right? Because shorting, you know, when the market's scared and the price starts trending to the downside, man, shorts play out fast and aggressive. I was having a lot of fun shorting these downswings. You guys know how vocally bearish I was for months. But yeah, this is the first time that got invalidated, right? We finally ended up, here was our low, lower low, lower high. When we ended up breaking that 70K level, well, that's where my opinion changed, right? Then we finally ended up losing that downtrend. So the shorts from looking at shorts in this level, I'm always trading on shorter time frames anyways, but that's where I was really looking for aggressive shorting at those levels because the invalidation was so tight, right? All that changes is, hey, we ended up breaking that level, got our pullback. Now it's time to be bullish from the same levels, but rather than FOMOing in at resistance, just buying the retest instead. So at this point, all that's really changed is I changed my trading bias, right? I'm just focusing more on the upside now. But you know, even when I was extremely bearish, it's not like I went and sold all my crypto or anything like that. Come on, ETH, hang on. Actually wanted to check out Solana as well. I was meaning to look at that a little bit. I'm going to be on the Blofin chart again because obviously that's what I'm trading. Tested a Stuber fib here. Once you start to see these, you just kind of, you can't unsee them, right? So we'll see if it ends up testing this yellow fib up here. That was just, yeah, very quick, you know, looking at the chart. First thing you see is a high, higher low, pull the fib, boom, tested the 786, absolutely perfect. Sometimes I throw on the 0.5 fib just to end up taking some profits right in the middle of the range as well, just to play it safe. But just to keep my charts a little bit cleaner, I more so look for the 214. That's just how I have them on my streams anyways, so. And yeah, obviously this would be a very small move on something like this, But that's just, you know, that's the range that's pulled. So yeah, if the profits are too close there, then you're pulling too small of a range. But either way, that's the range that we're in at this point, because we just have that high, higher, low. That's our current range. Very micro analyzed, but that is our current 1 minute small immediate range. Obviously, our bigger range would be something like that. And the fact that with Solana here, even on the 1 minute, notice that we did break this lower high structure here. And so actually, here's one thing. I want to erase everything here. Actually, no. I want to keep that fib there. But just looking at this, notice that the auto charting tools is pointing out the structure exactly how I was saying it before, right? So here's our low. We set a lower low. That confirms our lower high right here. And notice that we have broke that level. So even if there is a pullback on Solana now, let's say we end up losing this structure, what I would start looking for is some sort of a long setup like this. Because we have that bullish structure break, I would just, rather than FOMOing in up here, I mean, unless you're playing this very immediate trend kind of a thing, but if that gets broken, I think it's very realistic that we would pull back to down here at like 194.40, 194.15, somewhere in there. But if the bullish trend is going to continue, I mean, that would be a beautiful long opportunity. And if not, tight invalidation, right? So I love using the auto charting tools as that bit of confluence as well, right? So the fact that these are our pivot points just helps kind of confirm that there should be some sort of a range here where it's quite likely that we get some sort of a reaction off the 786, 886. Obviously doesn't always happen. Sometimes you just blast right through. But as far as looking for longing a pullback, I mean, that's kind of where I start looking for my entries, right? Taking profits on the way, right? As soon as, you know, if we got some sort of a bounce like this and set some structure like that and we end up losing some structure, yeah, I'm going to downsize my risk as long as I'm watching. I'm also going to be taking profits at my 214 fib. Just making sure I pay myself on the way, especially when scalping, right? Because, I mean, again, just not looking for those home run trades. Paying yourself is probably one of the hardest things to do in trading. It's not that hard to get into a decent position. It's very hard to hit that take profit button. That being said, I am a big advocate for not closing my entire position. I love only closing usually about a quarter of my position at a time. As my position gets smaller, then I'm usually only closing like 10% or a quarter of what I have left or whatever, but I'm getting smaller on the take profits, but very aggressively taking profits very early. Just because, yeah, it's important to remember to pay yourself and update your stop losses, especially with scalping. You have to react very quick when you're scalping. If I'm trading the 1 minute, well, basically I know I say this quite often, but I think it's important. Just remember what time frame you're actually trading, right? And kind of one of my half-assed rule of thumb would be, see, notice that Stuber fib did actually play out. Sorry to get totally sidetracked here, but notice we test that 786 twice and then hit the fib target, hit our double top level. Very small range, but yeah, just goes to show how often you end up seeing them actually happen, right? That being said, I don't really care about that really small range, so I'm just going to be, as the price pumps up, just kind of chasing it, just following the price with the fibs. And that's not even to say that we get that pullback, right? That's just one of those things that if it happens, then there's a potential setup there. Perfect. See, again, look how strong that market structure is. Nothing crazy has happened here, but we just set another higher high, another higher high, higher low, higher high. That higher low basically stayed the same. And that's exactly where we ended up finding support. We had that higher buy signal, ended up lining up with that support as well. And it's continuing to the upside. Love to see it. Exactly why I don't close all of my position when I hit my targets. Perfect example right here, because it's possible we just continue trending up. Yeah, this has played out beautifully. Anyone else in any trades? I know Chaos had mentioned that he's in a way better Ethereum long than I am, because I know he took his the other day we were talking about Ethereum on one of my streams, so he got in way lower, absolutely killed it. But yeah, curious, anyone else in any trades? Anybody ballsy enough to short this market, or is everybody long? Are you just sitting spot, sitting in fiat? How's everyone feeling? Solana is flying. Something to consider. It is getting near resistance right now, because technically, looking at the same type of market structure, right? Here we have a low. So we had our low, lower low. This would be the highest point between the two. And notice where we are starting to struggle right now. So I think most of you guys have seen a lot of my streams with how I look at Stuber fibs, or seen a lot of my posts throughout the years in the chat. But this is exactly why I love that Fibonacci pocket. And when you mix it with that, the structure break right there, there's nothing saying this can't blow right through this. The bulls do have a lot of momentum on their side, but just look at that obvious reaction from that level, right? It would make a lot of sense. I don't know if it's going to happen, and I'm definitely not feeling like shorting Solana right now, but it would make a lot of sense if it pulled all the way back down towards that, like I said, around that 194, 195, that 214 target if you were to short this. Again, that's just if I pull the opposite fib, just front running the 786 slightly. But yeah, I myself, I would rather see a nice long opportunity than trying to force a short right now myself. And obviously the same thing goes for Ethereum, right? This is the bullish fib that I have pulled, obviously. But if I pull the opposite, because let's look at this. Technically, here we had our high, higher high. This is where we lost that uptrend, right? This was our bearish signal right here. And now look at this. Look where we're starting to struggle. 786. Again, I'm not willing to short it, but that's exactly why that 214 was kind of my target. The fact that we already got rejected perfectly off it once and then ended up recovering with our higher low structure, That's another reason why I wouldn't want to short this right now, because when I play Stuber shorts myself, yes, it's absolutely possible that it gets tested a few times and ends up getting respected quite well several times. I have ended up doing that in the past where I've, traded the same range like 3 or 4 times, whatever. I have at times. But right now, especially that I don't have a lot of faith in the bears right now, I really would only want to look for that first reaction, kind of a first mover advantage is kind of how I refer to it as, because so often you get that immediate reaction off those levels. But if you start testing it again, it's just showing that maybe that level isn't holding as strong. But you can tell that there's an obvious interest there. I mean, how many candles was that? First of all, the perfect pinpoint touch on the 786, but then also, what is that? 5 or 6 candles kind of struggled right below that level. So just an obvious level of interest, right? So that's why I love that fib pocket. But yeah, I have more faith in the bulls right now. More interested in the bullish range pulls. Longed, missed the rise over the last couple of days. Wish hadn't been working. No excuse. Plenty more trades ahead. That's exactly it, right? Plenty of trades. The markets aren't going anywhere. Market volatility is one of the certain things in life. Oh, yeah. See, so especially now that we've even broken this high back here, now I would be even more bullish. If we ended up getting some sort of a pullback, I will be just basically chasing the price with these fibs. Because if we get some sort of a pullback, I want to be looking at re-longing, basically. I do want to bump this up. I think I'm still going to keep my stop loss down here, though. Just keeping it a little extra breathing room. But love to see this. Actually, if we do end up, especially, so now that we've broke this level, so there, oh boy. I just want to make this green to show it as our bullish break in structure there. How should I have it? Let's do a thin line like that. Since we have that break in structure, I would love to see something like this happen, just to get a high and a higher high again, so that I'd have a confirmed higher low once again. So in that case, I would end up having a trigger stop loss on half of the remainder of my position, chasing the structure like that, just to make sure that I do pay myself a little more. So even if I have the rest of my full position stop loss down here, I do want to update half of my stop loss just to make sure to lock in more profits, right? But since this is running so nice, I also don't want to manually close any yet. I really want to see some sort of structure change on the 1 minute. Hell yeah. Look at this thing go. That entry played out beauty. What is this sitting at? 166%. Sorry, one sec. let's keep this thing pumping. Yeah, that's back. ETH back to 4K. Yeah, let's do it right now. The thing is, Ethereum has a lot of catch up to do with Bitcoin, right? Here, I just want to open another page here. Like looking at Ethereum on the daily, the fact that Bitcoin's at all-time highs, but I mean, look at Ethereum. Still 40% away. And also, the ETH BTC chart had a very nice breakout recently. And actually, well, looking like another breakout it just had. I was actually referring to this. Again, just that basic market structure, right? Just setting lower low, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. We broke that beautiful breakout on ETH versus BTC there. And that's on the daily chart. But then also breaking above this this trend line here. So yeah, I think ETH is, you know, it's lagging, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I ended up taking along on ETH instead of Bitcoin at this time. Was just, oh, see, this is one of those times. Sorry, just jumping. Gotta move quick here because of the 1 minute here. But notice my market structure. So since the bottom here, since we set this higher low here, we have not broken a higher low. Even on the 1 minute, it's been straight confirmed higher lows, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So that's exactly why I'm going to update half of my remainder of my position. Because if that trend breaks, I think there's potential for a bigger pullback, right? Let me just set my order. So, you know, I was actually doing a live stream on Financial Summit last night, and someone had mentioned that everything you're showing is day one stuff. It's so simple, blah, blah, blah. You're very right. And I love keeping my trading very simple. And this is a perfect example. Look how basic that market structure that I've been pointing out to you this whole time. Look how powerful that's been, right? Or sorry, after that, then that, then that, 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 right? So this whole trend, there has not been a loss of a 1 minute high or low. And that's why a lot of people have a hard time seeing structure that way. And I think it's very important, and it is very simple. And I think that's why it's so effective, and why I always say I like market structure first. And from there, I love getting that confirmation from indicators when a trend is actually happening, when to hang on to a position more so, or when to pump the brakes a little bit, when to pay myself. That's more so where I've been using the indicators a lot. Simple is totally best. I could not agree more. I always joke and say a simple strategy for a simple brain, simple strategy for a simple guy. However I want to say it, I don't care. Honestly, it's effective, right? That's exactly why I don't like, even the fact that, yes, we all knew that if Trump won, it was going to be good for the, you know, the markets were going to start pumping. We all knew that. But I still wasn't willing to trade solely on that. I was still waiting for the market structure had to agree with that. Yeah, I caught a very nice long the night of the election, and part of why I took it was because, you know, it was obvious that he was in the lead by significantly. But then I also had those confirmations on the indicator, the market structure. I took along, and it played out very nice. But I still wasn't willing to trade just based on the news, because you know what? If news or fundamentals are ever going to matter, and yes, with investing I totally agree, but with actually actively trading, If you're looking for an edge, if you think it's easier to not make a mistake by analyzing the entire world economy versus a couple of trend lines, you know, there's just I personally know which side of things that I understand better. I can look at colorful lines and understand what they mean. Even if I think I understand how something's going to affect the economy, doesn't mean that I'm going to be right there. Now I have the chance to misanalyze my trend lines and misanalyze the fundamentals, right? It's complicating things, and that's where I just keep it as simple as I possibly can. And notice, see, even the structure, even where we ended up getting a bounce, yeah, we might lose this structure now, but notice where we bounced from. It was just like back here. And again, if we drop that level, closing half of the remainder of my position, because there is absolutely a chance that we just end up starting a new downtrend. Even if we come back down here and then we're still bullish, we pull some sort of a fib from down there, yeah, absolutely. But still, I want to pay myself, and then I can always re-enter down here if that happens. So this is the weakest we've looked so far. Just a wick so far. What is my stop loss exactly on that half? $29, $29, $29. So it hasn't quite been hit yet. Oh, someone else getting some background noise. Just muting you there. No worries, just in case there's sensitive info or anything. So see, and this is why I like to leave a little wiggle room too. There is a chance this was just a little bit of a fake out. There wasn't an actual candle close below. But again, my stop loss is still very close to here. Right around here. So yeah, we still could definitely hit my take profit there, but I'm just gonna let it run for now. Oh, Johnny, your mic was, I only heard background noise for about 5 seconds. I'm usually pretty quick to mute people, and honestly, I get it. I leave my mic on accidentally all the time. Yeah, you just have to ask to be unmuted if you want to talk is all. No biggie. But yeah, nice to see that we're still trying to hold that higher low support, right? This is the weakest it's looked so far because we got a wick below. We haven't even had a wick below on this whole trend. That's the first time. So it is a little bit of a sign of weakness, but it's not a close below at least. When does China start to wake up again? That should have been 20 minutes ago, I think their market opened. They actually pumped us there. But now will they dump on us? Yeah, basically, if anyone has anything you really want me to look at, by all means shoot. I'm just kind of babysitting my my trade here. I've already gone a little longer than I planned to, but I kind of want to watch this until that market structure changes, even on the 1 minute, so I can kind of explain, Kate, you know what? Here, I know I already did explain when I'm going to be getting stopped out on half the remainder of my position, but it'd be nice to see it live as well. Well, I guess it's not happening yet. We just set another higher high. So I am actually going to, it's still considering it a higher low just because we never had the close there, but technically it did drop slightly, just giving a little more wiggle room. But Yeah, that trend is still holding. You know, we never did get the candle body close below, so I say that like I'm disappointed. I just kind of had it in my head that I was going to be wrapping up here, but let's just keep watching. Does the way I'm explaining market structure, you guys, I know a lot of you guys have been in a lot of my streams, but does it all make sense? Let me know if I'm ever going too fast or if something just does not make sense, why I'm looking at things the way I am. Obviously, everyone has their own trading strategies that work for them. This is just how I like to look at structure and as well how I'm using the indicators. Just a beautiful buy trend. So, and again, you know, on top of, like I was saying, the structure, it's been playing out beautifully and very simply. As far as, you know, that strategy I've been talking about lately on my streams a lot, you know, we got that higher buy signal. Unfortunately, never had a higher sell as well, confirming that. Obviously, that's going to happen soon, you know, well, eventually. But just that warning there that this downtrend may be over here, right? Just the higher buy signal, absolutely beautiful that the trend reversed there. Here we can even chase the micro the micro price action here with some fibs. So again, high, higher, low, pulling the fib. If we find support, I would like to see it right around here. Right about here. Dare you say you don't think we're heading down for a while? Yeah, honestly, with retail being mostly short right now, that's actually shocking to me. But a lot of people want to short this move down, and I think that's just going to provide fuel. But again, even if we do see significant pullbacks, you know, on the daily, 4 hourly, stuff like that, I still just think that Bitcoin's in a very good position, and therefore the rest of the market in a good position. See? We so often get some sort of a reaction off that 786. And that's why I love looking at the 1 minute with you guys, because it's a perfect live examples coming out the yin yang here. Just seeing a lot of 786 retests where they just end up, even if we don't get all the way to the target, there's just an obvious reaction here, right? And if we are going to carry on this uptrend to the upside here, it makes perfect sense that it would happen right here. We drop this range. We're also dropping the buy trend at that point. And again, I'm just going to lock in more profits if we lose that anyway. So everything's playing out beautiful here. ETH BTC, yeah, that's still looking good. DXY, I wanted to check out the DXY. So this was actually something I pointed out a while ago. Actually, I think the last few weeks I was talking about this, that there was this bullish Stuber fib on the DXY. And we absolutely did. We came very close to that Stuber target. It played out once here. And I'm going to consider that playing out here. But then notice as soon as we hit that target area, just an immediate reaction there. One thing to consider about this, and which could give crypto a bit of a problem if we start to all of a sudden trend to the downside, this is a bullish structure break on the daily for the DXY, right? They don't have to be inverse correlated like everybody seems to think. Sometimes Bitcoin and the dollar move together. It's just quite often they do the opposite. So here we have our low. I'm actually going to get rid of the auto charting tools because it's pointing out smaller ranges. But here we have our low, lower low, lower high. Here's our bullish confirmation. we end up pulling back to that super fib pocket, reaching the target, pulling back again, reaching the target. Here's the thing. If that bullish structure break right here is actually pointing out an uptrend, we could be seeing the DXY going even significantly higher. Right now it's looking like it's getting rejected, but just understand that that can change, you know, with time. I mean, this could easily end up finding support right here and ending up blasting out to the upside. And the reason I have this red box outlined here is, you guessed it, here we have our, actually here, let me just zoom in to kind of show you where this range changed. So again, this is the last higher high, higher high, higher low that I see. There is, well, the right here is our bearish structure break. Notice where we end up getting rejected there. Perfect 786 test and trending to the downside from there. So now, technically, I mean, yes, we've confirmed that the downtrend is over right here. So that means that the DXY is in a much bigger range, right? As far as the bullish side of things, yes, this is the smaller range that it's on for the bullish side of things. But as far as resistance goes, I'd be pulling my fib from where we topped out. This is where the range changed, right? Pulling right down to the bottom there. And notice that red box is my 786,886. So I'm not saying that the dollar has to go up there by any means. But if we do end up carrying on this uptrend, just understand that this was technically a break of this downtrend on the daily. And until we end up either losing the lows here or breaking the highs here, we're technically in this very large range. If the DXY ends up getting pushed down, you know, we reach the super fib target, all of a sudden it sets a lower low, something like that. Then at that point, I'm invalidating that, and then I would start pulling fibs, something like this, right? From our low, lower low, I would pull the fib from the highest point between the two, and it would be something like that. And I would look at the downtrend continuing. So even at that point, if it ended up, you know, setting a lower low and bouncing, I would still assume it's in a downtrend and it's just going to end up getting rejected at the bearish Stuber fibs. But as it stands right now, I mean, there is potential that it goes significantly higher. So just something I wanted to touch on there as well. ETH, the last 3 nights around midnight gets a nice push. I guess it depends what time zone you're on. What time are you at right now? UK. So is it midnight for you in the next half hour? So I don't know. I'm in Canada in the middle of nowhere. Oh yeah, so about half hour ago. Yeah, hey, I'm up for an Ethereum pump right now. That would do wonders for my long from down here. Don't mind if I do. Don't mind if I don't not. Never quite reached the 214 there on this little mini fib pull, but got very close, right? Obviously had that reaction at the 786, and obviously that's micro analyzing because that's just the little range that we have created while we've been trending to the upside. So not a significant range, but, well, I shouldn't say that, because that is still the support of the uptrend. I mean, as long as this uptrend is intact, we should not really lose that 29.31. If we do, there's just potential for that bigger fib pullback, right? But I am all for micro analyzing, especially that we're just really waiting to see if this ends up setting a new higher high or we lose the higher low. At that point, I think I'm going to wrap up the stream because I really want to see what happens here if this range can continue. But I also don't want to be here all night, and I am getting very hungry. So I want to wrap things up relatively soon. I just want to kind of see where my position's going from here with this range, the mini range. Not looking so bad though. Not yet, at least. Bitcoin. Oh, that's the 1 hour on Bitcoin. Yeah, so we never even came down to this support. Although, I mean, that's the 1 hour, so that could take a lot longer to play out. What is the 1 minute on Bitcoin doing? Haven't really been watching this stream all that much. But I mean, beautifully uptrending sell signals, uptrending buy signals, got higher lows printing, higher highs printing. Yeah, Bitcoin also looking good right now. As far as the 1 minute goes anyways. I understand not everybody's into watching the 1 minute or playing the 1 minute, but it's obviously just a great way for us to do live examples because, I mean, this position that I've been in this stream, you know, we've had plenty of structure breaks, plenty of Fibonacci pulls on the way. So yeah, very effective watching the shorter time frames, and I'm just a big fan of trading the shorter time frames. I like to know very quickly whether I'm going to win or lose on my position. I don't like waiting around. The ETH long was a Stuber fib. I only got my first entry. I was front running the 786 a little bit. I was talking about this a little earlier. And then what ended up making me hold it more so was that, hey, you know what? We ended up breaking this very micro downtrend, right? We broke this lower high. So I was intending on holding on to it a little longer as well. Big green dot with our red flashy box here on the oscillator stack, just looking a little bit oversold here. And as well down on the Wave Master, it looked like a volatile move was kind of looming, right? We started seeing some of those little blue dots. It's probably hard for you guys to see with these colors, but also bright green box, seeing a pivot, you know, just looking like a volatile move is coming. So combined with those things, I was just willing to hold on to it a little longer. So I was a little bit nervous when we ended up, I started taking profits on my position relatively quickly in the stream because we printed a lower buy signal and a lower sell signal after I entered the position. When that happened and we ended up retesting very close to this lower sell trend here and having a lower high signal printed there, I ended up closing some of my position, came within pennies of getting stopped out on the rest of my position, printed a higher buy signal. At that point, I was, again, just more confluence that, hey, it looks like it's potential that the trend is shifting. It's like I always say in the chat, I really like seeing, you know, these early warning signs that the trend may be shifting, and that really made me want to hold on to my position longer. And we've just been setting higher highs and higher lows since. We have not yet broken higher low structure. We might right now. But so far we are right at higher low support right now. Eventually trends break, and yeah, we lose this range here, and I was just saying earlier that half of my position will end up taking profit at 29.29.29. Like that. So I locked in some profits just in case this is going to reverse on me, just because the structure is looking a little bit weak. But again, I'm still holding on to part of my position, and my stop loss is way down here on the rest, just because I see potential that even if we print a sell signal here, I think we're going to see a higher buy signal come into play. I might even, depending how it looks and how my how much profit I'm in at the time, if that even plays out that way, just kind of looking ahead here. I would consider adding back into my position as well, if it's safe for me to update my stop loss and still be in a profit on the rest of my position, kind of a thing. Otherwise, I won't touch it. But that's kind of what I'm going to be looking for later tonight. But going to have to see what happens. Like I said, now that we've actually finally broke a higher low on the 1 minute, I would be open to the idea that we see some sort of a bigger Fibonacci pullback. I don't know if it's going to happen because there's obviously some FOMO in the markets right now. But I would absolutely consider getting into a new position down here if we end up getting back down there. were making a couple vids for the bot setups. Yeah, nice. I hear you're the bot guy. I like to see that we still might end up holding this buy signal, right? If we can start closing green candle bodies above it, then my position's still looking like it might just continue running. So we're just going to have to see what happens from here. Either way, it's been a beautiful trade, so no complaints here. Anyways, guys, now that we finally got some sort of a break of structure, I want to take off here. I want to eat and whatnot. So hopefully you guys found this stream useful. I know plenty of structure examples and Fibonacci examples, and you know how I use the indicators looking as far as risk management and which way I think the market's going to continue trending and that sort of thing. So hopefully you found this useful. If you did, this will be shared on my YouTube channel. It'll probably take a couple hours to upload, or an hour, or whatever. If you appreciate it or want to rewatch it or watch parts that you missed, whatever, will be uploaded here relatively soon. And if you appreciated it, thumbs up and a subscribe if you aren't. I know most of you guys are subscribed to my channel, so thank you for that. But yeah, if you do hit up a like, that goes a long ways for the algorithm and stuff. So anyways, my friends, I hope you all have a fantastic evening. Keep crushing those trades. With that, I'm out. Stay safe, my friends. Peace.